right, thanks for tuning in to episode 14 of the MaritimeGardening.com podcast. And once again, I am connected with Mr. Greg Otten. How are you doing on this fantastic summer day, Greg?
Oh man, this heat's been fantastic. Everything's growing with a vengeance. Vengeance attitude.
Yeah,
Everything's growing very well.
very well. There you go. That's a safe one. I've seen some pictures from your garden, and yeah, I would have to agree. So yeah, we're gonna be talking today about saving seeds. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. So what will we start with?
I'm going to start with why
Yeah.
save seeds, and then I'll sort of go into how.
Excellent.
And then if there's any time left, I've got a couple other sort of seasonally appropriate topics we can get into if there's any time left.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So why would one save seeds? I think I know the answer.
It saves money. That's not the main reason. It is and it isn't. None of these. I got sort of three categories of reasons, and no one is more important than the other. They all are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Every reason is connected to the other reason. So number one, in no particular order, is cost. Of course.
Yeah.
It costs nothing to save seeds.
Right.
I mean, it costs a bit of your time, but that's just taking away from Game of Thrones and Candy Crush time. So
yes,
that's time I'll gladly give up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not Game of Thrones.
No, maybe not.
Last episode was awesome. Anyway, yeah, cost. Now you'll say, well, God, Greg. I mean, a pack of seeds is only $1.99. Who cares? But that's not the only cost. I mean, there's the cost of the seeds. There's the cost of you driving to the place where the seeds are. There's that time, and the cost of the time you spend driving to the place where the seeds are. And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, there's a volume element to it as well. When you save seeds, whatever the plant is, when you get a pack of seeds from, Halifax Seed or Vessey's or wherever you're going to get your seeds, Mackenzie's or Kent or wherever you go, you're going to have like 50 seeds in there. And that's not a lot of seeds. If you let a plant go to seed and you save seeds from that plant, you're not going to get 50 seeds. You're going to get like a zillion seeds.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get a lot of seeds.
Yeah.
So if you put a value to those seeds, right?
Yeah.
You're getting, lots of money's worth of seeds. And so you'd say, well, so what? I only need 50.
Yeah.
But because you've got so many seeds, you can plant your rows fairly seed heavy. And the advantage of that is that once the seeds start coming up, you can just weed out the ones that aren't optimal in size.
Right.
So you'll have a lot of seeds for whatever that plant is the next season. And from that ridiculous number of seeds, you can sort of weed out the best of the best. Just like if you think about a high school, right? And you have a tryout for the football team, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of kids try out, but, you only let in the ones that are good.
Yeah.
The kids that are terrible, they can go join the chess team or something, right?
Yeah.
So seeds are no different than people. There's big, strong ones and, ones that not so much, right?
Not so much, yeah.
And it's the same. There's all these variations. So, and, it's when you buy seeds from a seed provider, I mean, they're doing everything they can to provide good seeds. But, I mean, the main thing they got to promise you is germination. And, pretty good uniformity in results. But you're buying them, so you're only going to buy so many. So that's the advantage. You can save a ridiculous amount. You can also share them with your friends and community or whatever, so you can be a good person and pat yourself in the back for all of that sort of stuff. That's nice. But also it allows you to, if you're from a selfish point of view, get the best possible crop you can get because you can plant a lot and sort of pick out the ones that look like the most prominent. They're growing with the most vigor, the thickest, the biggest, the strongest, most fast growing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the other bit, which is related to cost because it's a value thing, right? You're getting value. So there's that. Number two is, it's a combination of reasons, but it's an exercise. If this is important to you, it's an exercise in sustainability. I mean, you're literally developing a sustainable food source on your property.
Yeah.
Right? And conceivably, you never have to buy that again. Something grew, you save some seeds, you can plant them again. It's very fun, if you're oriented like that, or it's exciting, or it's interesting, or it's sort of for me, it's
Empowering.
I get a sort of geeky.
Yeah.
It's more of a geek factor, like it's cool, a sciencey sort of thing
Yeah.
wow, like that's a plant, and I see the seeds, and they grew. They actually, I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really, every time it happens, I was like, I can't believe it worked.
Yeah.
Even though it's been like, that's how the whole planet
Yeah,
works.
yeah, exactly. I can't
The whole
believe
thing
it.
works that way without us.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
we weren't even
exactly.
here, this would be going on.
Yeah,
But the fact that I was able to, like, that just goes to the arrogance of human beings. I did it. I made
yes,
this.
only you. Yeah.
Look what I have done.
Yes.
So it's fun. And if you have children, that's a
Yeah.
great thing to show them. I mean, aside from just showing them how to grow their own food, showing them how to sort of procure and sustain and save seeds, and just that whole circle of life, nature sort of thing. It's fascinating thing to involve them in.
Nice.
There's something about, you take whatever the pod is, and you break the seeds open, and you put them in your hand, and the kids can see, and you say, see that huge plant over there? It came from this teeny tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And we plant this next year, and it's going to be one of those. And they're like, no way, that's impossible. Way. No, trust me, it's going to happen, So it's a great thing to do with kids. So there's a bunch of reasons to do it. It's educational. It's, a good thing to do with your kids. And the third thing, which I've alluded to before, is this whole point of optimization.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person, I always incrementally trying to find the best way to do everything a little bit better this way, a little bit better that way. How many, how wide should the garden bed be? There's an ideal width that's too long, neither too much nor too little sort of thing. I find most things in life have that quality. There's a right size for everything. There's a right amount of effort to put into something. Too much effort, marginal returns, all that sort of stuff. So the beauty of saving your seeds is that in doing that, you're saving the seeds from a plant that grew in your soil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And ideally, you're saving the seeds from a plant that grew really well in your soil.
Right.
Well, if you got a bunch of plants growing, you're not going to save the seeds from the lousiest one. You're going to save the seeds from the one that looks like it's really thriving.
Yeah.
Because that's a plant that, for whatever its qualities, it seems to like your light, your water, your humidity, your everything, and it seems to be resistant to all the things that are problematic. I've got a lot of kale growing in my garden. Some of it's being beaten to pieces by pests, and some of it looks fine.
Yeah.
And the one that's being beaten to pieces by the pest, I don't think it's any more or less pest resistant. I don't think it's as healthy.
Yeah.
So just like the wolf takes out the weak caribou sort of thing.
Yep.
It's the same way in the garden world. The plants that are unhealthy, the pests just seem to know them. They must give off a scent or something.
They can take them down.
They get just decimated fast.
Yeah.
So anything that's being really wiped out by pests, it's probably just, for whatever reason, it doesn't get what it needs where you are.
Yeah.
So by saving your seeds, you're generation after generation after generation, creating a sort of strain of whatever the variety is that seems to like the conditions that exist in your gardening site.
Makes sense.
And over time, when you buy seeds, you're getting a variety that grew well wherever the hell they raised that variety, right?
Somewhere.
So that's not your backyard.
No.
Or your garden plot, or wherever you're gardening. So in saving the seeds, you're sort of getting your own special variety. It's really, and over time, this isn't going to happen in a season, or this is going to take a while, but over time, it's just going to get better and better and better. You can give those to people, and they can develop and so on. And I guess I preface this whole conversation with, in order to do this, you have to. We're talking about saving seeds. We're talking about heirloom varieties of vegetables. So a lot of, you look at the seed pack when you buy a vegetable in the store, and it's either going to say it's F1, this, that, or the other thing, or it's heirloom. And if it doesn't say, ask the people there. And if they don't know, then go to a different garden center. They know what they're talking about. They know their stuff. Some places will have like a list online of all the ones that are and the ones that aren't. Heirloom seeds are seeds that produce plants that will have seeds that will make plants that look like that resemble the ones that the seeds came from. So if you plant a hybrid, a lot of tomatoes are hybrid tomatoes. Let's say you've got a big fat red tomato and you take the seeds out of the tomato, you save them, and the next year you plant those seeds. Chances are it's going to look like a cherry tomato. It's not going to be a big fat tomato.
Okay.
Because the hybrid seed will not, a seed from a hybrid plant will not produce the plant it came from. It's just the way it works. So an heirloom seed will produce another plant that's like the plant it came from.
Okay.
So that's what you want, right? Because if they have a hybrid seed, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
it's
you don't want a surprise.
You want to get, that was a beautiful plant, it had beautiful results. I want that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hybrid. You're going to get something like it, but not the same thing. With an heirloom, you're going to get something very similar, and over time, it might just be better because you're sort of selecting for qualities that were, amenable to your soil, your condition. All right. So yeah, let's preface. It's got to be heirloom seeds. So that's why. All the reasons why. Now, the next thing to talk about is what kind of plants we're talking about. So you'd say, if you have a perennial, you don't necessarily need to save the seeds, because if it's a perennial, the roots don't die. Right. Perennial, the roots live in perpetuity, multiple years. It could be 20 years, it could be hundreds of years, who knows, right? But so we don't usually talk about saving seeds from perennials. You can, if you want more of that, you can do that. Most perennials will put out a flower every year, so you could save the seeds and plant those. But typically the perennials in your garden, you're not replanting them. Like I've got rhubarb, I'm not saving rhubarb seeds. And actually, for that matter, rhubarb, if every once in a while, rhubarb will go to seed and put out these huge, crazy-looking flower things. You've never seen anything like it. But if you plant the seeds from that rhubarb, they're not going to produce a rhubarb that looks like that. They're going to produce some weird plant that's, like most of your rhubarb. You get rhubarb from someone, you get a piece of a root, so it's really a clone. Okay, you get a big rhubarb plant. Someone goes in and hacks off a hunk of the root with a shovel, and you stick that hunk somewhere else, and a new rhubarb plant starts growing up. And that's how people sort of share rhubarb with one another. That's a clone. It's it's not a child of that other rhubarb. It's just a clone.
Yeah.
So you don't normally a lot of the perennials that we like around here, it tends to work that way. Not necessarily like a asparagus, each one of those is started from a seed. You could break up a crown, I guess, but it doesn't tend to work that way. Anyway, I'm going to talk about annuals and biennials.
Okay.
Right now, and the whole reason I'm talking about it now is because biennials, many of the biennial plants right now are producing seeds, and it's sort of time to start thinking about saving those seeds. Annuals, depends on the plant, but if it's a green, like a cilantro or something, may have gone to seed by now. Certainly if you had spinach that you left in the ground, that's definitely gone to seed. Those are annuals, but a lot of annuals, like your tomatoes and zucchini, squashes, and things like that, I mean, they're just starting to grow now, so their seeds aren't going to be ready till end of August, September, that sort of thing. But many of the biennial plants, and as we talked about in the previous episode, a biennial is a plant that has a 2-year life cycle. They're putting out their seeds right now, and it's time to take those seeds. We've got annuals and biennials as we're talking about this episode. For a lot of biennials, right now is the time to harvest the seeds. And for annuals, it really depends on the plant. So let's talk about the question of when.
Yeah.
How do I know the seeds are ready? How do I know because you don't want to harvest them too soon, right?
No.
If I harvest them too soon, they're not mature and they're not really going to give you a good plant. You want to harvest them at just the right time. And when I got into all of this stuff, I didn't find which is the whole reason we're doing this show. It's related to the reason we're doing this show, is that I didn't find a lot of useful information online.
Right.
Because the information would be, some guy in Louisiana saying, "Oh yeah, harvest this plant in May."
In Louisiana.
Is your May my August?
Yeah.
I can't. That plant doesn't even germinate in May here, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get a lot of good information. I mean, in a lot of these windows of time, we're talking like a 2-week window of time, right? It's ready.
Yeah.
It's time to do it now, sort of thing. You don't want to be too long. You don't want the seed rot. There's a right point in time to take that seed and dry it out and store it somehow. So how do you know when they're ready? And it really depends on the plant, and I'm not an expert on all of them. So, I'm going to speak to the things I've done successfully, and where this show is concerned, I'm going to do everything that way. If I haven't done something and I've just read about it, I'm going to make that very clear to people.
Yeah.
I can't stand when you're watching something and people are saying, explaining how to do something like they've got expertise, but because you've actually done it, they don't know what they're talking about. Just like they watched 2 YouTube videos and now they're an expert. Can't stand that. So I'm going to talk about things I've actually done successfully.
Awesome.
And if anyone has any input,
Sure.
I'd love to hear it, because this is something that I didn't grow up doing. This is all stuff I've become interested in over my adult life, and every year I seem to want to do more and try more and get more experience and try. I always want to try new things. I'm never getting bored with this. It's just getting more. Every year yields new riddles, new solutions and new riddles.
Yeah.
It's just an ongoing lifetime learning process.